Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by the incredible Asha Sherwood. Hi Asha.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So I invited Asha to come to the show today because she is founder of Abu Dhabi Review, which is the ultimate guide to Abu Dhabi for residents and visitors alike. That sounds awesome. Please tell me your story and what got you started.
Okay, so I suppose we go right back to the start. When I was about 15, I've never really known what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to work in the media space because I just loved back in the 90s you had telly. That's basically it. You had television and you had radio, and that was really and some magazines as well, but that was really what I consumed on a regular basis, and I really wanted to get involved in that space. So at 15, I actually badgered Capital FM. Now, if anybody's from the UK, they will know Capital FM is a radio station. And I badgered them to let me come and do some work there over the summer holidays, which they allowed me to do. And it was so cool being in radio stations. And it was just amazing. I really enjoyed it. And they invited me back the following year and said, we'd love you to come back. You did a great job. And the previous year they couldn't pay me because I was like 15. So it wouldn't be very good for them to be paying a child. But the following year at 16 in the UK, you could get paid. So I worked for them, and that kind of really cemented what I want, not what I wanted to do, but what industry I want to go into. So I kind of worked towards that and ended up doing a marketing degree, marketing and management actually, because again, didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then from there, my first job was actually working at the Telegraph newspaper. So it really kind of, yeah, it was like a really, what a prestigious title to work for. And I was so excited to be working for such a huge title. And, back in the day, my dad used to read the Telegraph. So it was such a cool thing. It's almost like
Full
full
circle
circle. He used
moment.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, it really was. It was such a big part of our life. So yeah, so I've basically worked in publishing houses. So the Telegraph, IPC Media. Then I went to Turner Broadcasting, which is Cartoon Network and Boomerang, if you know those channels. Lots of kids channels. So again, I kind of grew up watching those channels as well. So that was amazing to be able to work on those. So kind of went from there. And then from Turner Broadcasting, and my husband got a job out here in Abu Dhabi. And we decided, let's give it a go. And we came out here, had my baby. I fell in love with Abu Dhabi, and the rest is history, really. I really wanted to do something that pushed Abu Dhabi and showed people that Abu Dhabi wasn't this little village that it was perceived to be. And it was this amazing city that was home for us now when my daughter was born, and also was doing all these amazing things for visitors, for the residents. And it's just kind of grown from there. So that's kind of how I got into this industry.
I love that. And obviously seeing Abu Dhabi through the eye of an expat as well, like that just shows just how much love you have for the city, and how much you want to bring out the best that is Abu Dhabi. And being somebody who's obviously grown up abroad and you've come here and started this ultimate guide, what would you say has been your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
I would say my biggest challenge it has been, and I suppose it's a few little challenges that have kind of grown into one, if you like. It's not easy. I started this when social media was really picking up, and I never wanted to be an influencer. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't think anyone cares that I'm having my cup of tea right now with a special tea bag. That's not kind of what I wanted to, what I wanted to showcase Abu Dhabi as being. And I wanted to really, having worked in the media industry, wanted to really have a media publication that really used social media to engage the audience. So I think the biggest challenge for me has been building a media publication when there's already huge publications in the city already that are people know them. Historically, they're really big names, and coming in and building a publication or a digital publication that has to compete with them has been tough because I'm one person. So immediately I get put into the influencer category, which I just didn't want to be. I know that people come to us because there's an authority in what we do, there's an authenticity in what we do, and we really want to, like I said, showcase Abu Dhabi, but not in the way that influencers are very good at doing. We want it to be a information, news, and let's say engaging platform. So the challenge has been being one person at the start, trying to build this publication. Then also one of the challenges has been being a woman, because this particular industry is kind of very governed by the male population, and sometimes you're not taken that seriously. So that was a little challenge. And I didn't ever think that potentially ethnicity would be a challenge, but it has been in some instances. But these are things that I've kind of faced all through my life, right? So it's not been a shock to me. It's actually just been, how do I handle that? How do I overcome it? And what do we do? And I think we've done it. You know, we are up there with the rest of the publications. We are featuring the NBA. We're at the golf. We're featuring all the F1 gigs. So we're still doing the same things that all these publications that are brilliant and have had this historical engagement with their audience. We're still doing that. But I think the one thing that our audience and our brands understand is that we really get our audience. We understand exactly what they want to see. We've taken time to really look at what our audience will engage in. And I think that, as well as a publication, is a challenge, because when you are a big organization, you don't really have time to do that. And I think starting small and building has really given us the time to look at what our audience really, really wants to see, as opposed to what we think they want to see.
I really appreciate that. The fact that you put yourself in the shoes of your audience. So you don't just think, oh, it's kids, so I'll give them cartoons, or it's adults, so I'll give them this and that. You actually take the time to do your research and you make your platform, as you said, engaging and informative. And it's really important for people to just not scroll and just only see news whenever they go on their socials, but also see something that's exciting, something that's like relatable. And I appreciate also what you've said about, being women of color. So obviously, women of color globally do tend to not have all the opportunities as well that we should have. And it is important for people such as yourself to inspire others to be like, you know what, I've done it, so can you. There is potential in this. And just because something is, a sector is a male-dominated industry does not mean that, women of color cannot also succeed. So I appreciate you kind of being so candid and sharing that perspective. And that brings me to my next question for you, Asha. Is there a specific story or experience that you feel has had an impact on you, or something that you'd really like to share with the audience?
I think potentially, just going back to what we've just talked about, I have a daughter, and the world is her oyster, right? And when I was young, my biggest impact probably was my parents, and my mum in particular, because she she worked at a bank, and I really looked up to her. She went in her business suits and she was like a powerhouse, and she went to work and she dropped us off at the childminders at 6 a.m. and then she did her full day's work, and then she picked us up from the childminder, took us home. And I really aspired to be like her. I really aspired to go out and manage my team and wear these power suits and do that. And I did that at a very young age. I was, like I said, at 15, I was badgering a radio station to let me come and work with them, because my whole my whole aim in life was to be just like her, to go out there to work. It's really interesting, as I've grown and as we've moved here, and as I've seen, you don't have to work in an office to be empowered. And that's what, in the 80s and 90s, that's what if you worked in an office, wow, you were this really powerful person. What I want to show my daughter is that you can still work in an office, and you can be this powerful person, but you can own your own business as well, and you can work from a coffee shop, or you can work from anywhere in the world, and you can still be this powerhouse by having this business. So for me, I would really say that the impact has really always been my parents. They have always pushed us to just be the best and be what we can be. And I want to be able to impart that on my daughter. And just by showing her that mum can have her own business, but she can still go to your recital. She can still go, and drop you off at the mall because you want to hang with your mates now and not hang with your mum. I can still do all of those things, but still be a mum to her. And I think that's really important. And also, a wife to my husband. And I think all of these things empower me, and they have been my super impactful experiences, because I do feel like I'm able to do it all. I am tired. I'm in my 40s. I am tired, but I really do feel, this is one of the reasons I absolutely love Abu Dhabi is because it's given me the opportunity to do that. Because I did have a job here, which was in hospitality, and it was a full-time job, and I could have carried on doing that if I wanted to. Um, but what the city has given me is the opportunity to spread my wings and learn new skills and be able to, let's be honest, be a Jackie of all trades. That's kind of where I've become. And back in the day, if you were a jack of all trades, people were like, oh, you don't have a specific niche and you're not going to be great. Nowadays, you need to have a different skill set. You need to have lots of different skill sets because one job does not just need one skill set. You need a range of skill sets now, especially as we are moving digitally, especially as we're moving into AI. Like I am constantly learning. And I would just say to anybody who is potentially looking to start their own business, who is looking to just do something different, it may not be starting their own business, but it may just be going in, working in another industry. Do it. Learn as much as you can and do it. Because if you don't, you could one, miss the opportunity, or two, you just could regret it. Or you get that thing, the FOMO thing, I've missed out on that opportunity. And actually, if you don't try, you'll never know. And if you fail, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Well, you've made my life really easy on this podcast, Asha. You've answered every question perfectly. And honestly, like this, I feel like you should be a podcast host and you should do your own show as well. Honestly,
You know that I am.
oh, you do? Oh,
You know
really?
We have, yes. So part of, well, I might as well just talk about it now. Part of Abu Dhabi Reviews, we have the ADR chat. And the premise of that is actually to promote people in Abu Dhabi because, like, again, I talk about the fact that people see Abu Dhabi as this little village, and we're all, riding around on camels and all of that kind of thing. I've been here 12 years, so people don't, unless you've been here, you don't see just the advancement and everything that's happening in the city. And you also don't hear from the small businesses that are around in the city. And one of the things that the ADR chat has really done is pulled people who have these small businesses that are making a massive impact on the city. So they could be, I mean, we've had people who are business consultants who are helping small businesses, or we've had people in the digital space that are talking about how to get your kids off the screens. So we're trying to help to push people in Abu Dhabi. And I keep saying Abu Dhabi because I could make it bigger, just like you're around the Emirates, so you talk to people all across the Emirates, which is fantastic. But I think with the premise with the ADR chat is that we just want to help to showcase the Abu Dhabi brands that are in the capital and that are doing amazing things for the people in the city.
I love that. That's such a beautiful concept to like you're not only showcasing what, these people and these companies are doing, but you're also connecting people through the show. You're showing them this person's doing this, and if somebody hears it and they think, "Oh, that's relatable for me. I want to work with that business or I want to, partner up with that person." That's such a beautiful context. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to speak to you about all these important topics today, Asha. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate you having me.
Thanks. Take care.